We're back and ready to finish up the state of West Virginia. A little over 100 miles to go. And in fact, we're not going to go all the way to the end of West Virginia in terms of trying to figure out where to stay for a hotel. It's not the easiest. So we're going to go almost to the end, but we are going to go through another state because a little bit of Maryland actually drops down, the western part of Maryland. So we're going to cut through that little part for a few miles. So we will enter a new state, but then back in West Virginia. We'll see Maryland eventually down the way. Also, looking at the map, there's a lot of more winding and twisting roads, it appears. So I've never driven this way, so it should be fun. Maybe a little bit adventurous. But yeah, let's continue and pick up where we left off here in Bridgeport, West Virginia. As we get started, there's just a couple small communities along the way before we get to the first town of the day, first incorporated town of Grafton. Grafton here has a spectacular downtown. Man, I didn't know. It's just kind of like the ones in the previous day in more of the western part of West Virginia. Just great historic places to check out. Really awesome, and Grafton is just incredible to go through if you like that kind of stuff. Now, looking at my map, I feel like this might be the last town in terms of incorporation until we get to where we're going, you know, at the end of the day. There's lots of dots on the map, so that's good, but none of them that look like very big, which we also like. But they also appear to be right on 50. A lot of the ones that I went to the previous video, they were maybe like a half a mile or a mile off of US 50, and it was on like the original 50. And you know, the newer version of 50 is more, have bypassed it, but I'm guessing this part is probably the original 50. It's probably going to be more 2-lane roads. It's pretty highly trafficked so far from where I started to get here, and so I'm curious once we get east of Grafton here if there'll be less traffic, because this is the last town for a while. Anyways, should be fun. Let's go continue our tour of West Virginia. Leaving Grafton, once we get past Thornton coming up, you can see how many twists and turns are on the road. Should be some real scenic driving, and then even some like hairpin turns coming up over here. And then we're going to take a little detour up to an interesting town, even though that's not on US 50. tractor graveyard back here. I needed a little stop after that kind of drive. I felt like I was racing F1 or something through those twists and turns. Here at the Cold Springs Parks kind of general store. Got some lunch, got a hamburger for $4. You can't beat that. And so there's a town not far from here. It's not on US 50, but since we haven't really seen much of any towns since Grafton, I thought maybe I'd pop over there. And it's just not far from 50, and then we'll get back and head to, kind of starting to head towards our destination. Back on US 50, more twists and turns ahead of us. And then once we get just past Aurora, you can see there's the Maryland-West Virginia state line. So we're gonna go into Maryland for just a few miles, basically right there. And then over in Gormania, that's gonna be where we head back to West Virginia. We're approaching that little section of Maryland I was talking about earlier at the beginning, where we cut through a little part of it and then we go back into West Virginia. So we'll see if it's any different. Well, the first thing I noticed is the road's different. The color changes. It's like going from one county to the other, going from one state to the other. But quick sign coming around the curve. Hard to see the Maryland sign, but it was there. As we settle back into West Virginia, lots of twists and turns coming up, some of the most scenic parts of the drive, a lot of unincorporated communities and some ghost towns along the way too. And then we're just a few miles away from where we're going to stay for the night in Romney. finishing up the day in Romney, West Virginia. It's the oldest town in West Virginia, the first town in West Virginia. That's pretty cool. And I've been trying to find some old classic hotels or motels and not having much luck on this trip, but I think I might have found one today, and it was only $75. So hopefully it's a solid place to stay. It definitely has a cool name. Got a bowling alley across the street. Koolwink Motel, number 21. I love number 21. Definitely feels classic. Pretty good size. Looks like we got everything we need. Super nice lady at the front desk. I asked her why Koolwink, and she said that I guess there's a breeze that goes through this valley here, and before there was air conditioning, this hotel they had before air conditioning, and it would have a cool breeze and you could get your 40 winks. So Koolwink, awesome. Love the old school motif. Looked like we finally found an old US 50 motel. So we're gonna finish up West Virginia. We don't have much tomorrow, and we'll be heading into Virginia. Had a good night's stay at the Koolwink Motel. Great little motel if you're ever near Romney, West Virginia. We've only got about maybe 20 miles to go on US 50 in West Virginia before we cross into Virginia. A few small communities along the way, so let's go ahead and finish up West Virginia. Leaving Romney, we're gonna hit a few more small communities, historic places, and we're almost out of the state. And as I flip over the page, you can see there's one more town there, and then that's the end of our drive in West Virginia. I can tell you that I'm driving through here on a weekday, and the last couple days have been weekdays, and roads are busy. So US 50, even through West Virginia, even through some of the more rural parts, are pretty busy. It's not like on the western side where everything was, so spread out and you go a long time without seeing another car. I mean, you're kind of, as I'm stopping to try to take some videos or pictures, I feel like I'm almost getting run over. So just know that if you're driving, it's definitely not going to be lonely out here. that's going to wrap it up for West Virginia. Definitely the most scenic state so far as we're heading east. And great little towns, more population than I thought there would be. And yeah, just a lot of fun. I really recommend checking out West Virginia, at least on US 50. Really beautiful driving here. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of that video. And now that you're here, let me tell you a little bit about some of the extras that we have on the channel. One of the things you can do is you can become a member. There's 3 levels. There's the supporter level, there's the producer level, and the executive producer level. And all 3 levels have different perks, and as you are more supportive financially, there's more perks. We have extra videos every week and a lot of fun stuff going on in the member section. If you haven't done so, make sure you check out travelwithawiseguy.com. We've got lots of extra stuff on there, and one of the things is merchandise. You can get you Travel with a Wise Guy t-shirt. We have Death Go Round t-shirts. We have some coffee mugs, different things that are a lot of fun, and people seem to have enjoyed. Good quality there. Also on the website, you can do things like check out the Google map. I have a pin dropped in every place I've done videos about, then a link to the video so you can look at the map, and maybe there's somewhere where you live or somewhere you want to go. You can check out that map, and it seemed to be a very popular thing. You can sign up for my newsletter. I do that about every 3 weeks. It's totally free. And there's also all kinds of other links and tidbits in there, old videos, podcasts, just everything I could think of I throw on the website. So make sure you check out travelwithawiseguy.com.